us a little history on the practice.
The practice has been here for quite a while. I think my father he didn't start the practice, but he started working here in about 1959. I've been here for about 32 years now. And it started out as a very small building, and it's kind of evolved into the practice in the building it is today. So it's been around for quite a while.
What is your focus here?
Our focus is mainly on small animals, dogs and cats. We do a little bit of exotic work, but again, that's another field unto itself. So most of that is sent to a specialist. So again, it's a general practice, as far as preventative medicine, spays, neuters, things like that.
What is your advice for pet owners during this time of year?
I think this time of year especially, and most people, the advice I would give is almost to treat them like they would a child or themselves. In the cold weather, they're going to need shelter. Also, if they're outside dogs with water freezing, they should have a shelter. Some people can use water heaters to keep that water from freezing. You want to have a shelter where they can get out of the wind. Those people that have house dogs will notice that, especially on the really bitter cold days, the dogs will start carrying their feet. So you want to make sure you don't walk them, especially if you have a large dog, such a distance that when their feet freeze that they can't walk back to the house. So again, it's just common sense issues as far as, the cold, bitter wind and things like that. You want to treat them like you would a person.
What should people be aware of for newborns?
Newborn puppies, most of them start vaccinations, just like in children. We usually start ours between 8 and 9 weeks of age. And on newborns, there's a series of injections that are given about 3-week intervals before they get yearly boosters. The one thing, what we also suggest with any newborn is just test them for parasites. Intestinal parasites tend to be a very common problem in young puppies. And without treatment, they can become quite debilitating. So most newborns, vaccinations, they go through their series. Then we check them for parasites, and then we put them on a heartworm preventative. And then there's just yearly maintenance with them.
What are some conditions that really need to be treated early, and what are the warning signs?
I think one of the number one things that needs to be treated on a little bit of an earlier basis is vomiting in dogs. Unfortunately, a lot of people, and again, with young puppies, they tend to chew on things and swallow things, and foreign bodies can be quite an issue. So usually I recommend if a dog vomits for more than a day, it would be a good idea to check that out. Letting things like that go for a longer period of time, you can end up with dogs that are completely blocked with a foreign body. They're left with surgical procedures. Any type of, again, the common things are vomiting and diarrhea. Things like pancreatitis in dogs that get too much table food. People have a tendency to wait 2 or 3 days, which is actually a little bit long. So I recommend on anything like that, if it goes for more than a day, and if the animal is, you can always have a happy vomiting dog, but if you have a dog or a cat even that it's listless and it doesn't look like it feels well, don't wait for more than a couple days before you get it checked.
What would you recommend as far as a nutritional program for pets?
There are a lot of very good dog foods on the market. Anything that is 100% nutritionally complete is actually a good dog food. There are certain requirements. There are a lot of prescription dog foods, and there are a lot of over-the-counter dog foods that can help dogs or cats with sensitive stomachs. Usually we would recommend keeping them on a good puppy food as opposed to putting them on an adult food for the first year, and then we would transition them over to an adult dog food. There are also some diets for dogs and cats that have skin issues. There are some hypoallergenic diets. Older dogs that tend to be overweight, there are some weight-reducing diets. I think that's a huge problem in dogs as they become overweight and their joints suffer. There are diets that have specific diets for kidney issues, liver issues. So there are a lot of different diets that can really help aid your dog and for a longer life.
What do you find that people feed their pets that is harmful that they may not be aware of?
I think probably the number one issue is people tend to, when we refer to it as they kill their dog or cat with kindness. So many people feed a lot of table food. Certain table foods, especially those that are high in fats, we tend to see a disease called pancreatitis a lot during the holidays because people tend to give their animals, chicken fat or ham and things like that they're not used to. So what we usually suggest is just a dog food. An occasional treat is fine as long as you're careful what you use. You know, there are a lot of things that pets can't have, you know, onions, garlic, macadamia nuts, raisins, grapes, things like that can cause some toxic issues. But I would say the dog food is appropriate for a dog. Table food should be kept to a minimum and only when necessary.
What are some of the other services you provide?
A lot of what we do is preventative medicine. We do a lot of vaccinating, checking for intestinal parasites. We have a lab that we do routine labs on dogs to check for, you know, early stage diseases. We do surgeries as far as spays, neuters, declaws, things like that. And we also do a lot of dentals. Other than that, there are some boarding kennels that will board animals for you, but that's about what we do.
How big a part of your practice is educating pet owners?
I think education is probably almost the number one issue that we try and do here. Basically, it can lead to a longer life for the dog, a healthier life for the dog. A lot of people they're unaware of things, and so what we try to do is stress the vaccination schedule, the importance of vaccinations, the importance of proper dieting, heartworm medicines, things like that, just to ensure that a dog lives a nice, long, healthy lifestyle.
If people want to stay up to date on your practice, how can they do that?
They can always go on the computer. We do have a website, and if you just type in Defiance Area Animal Hospital, it'll take you to our website.
Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.
This is Xavier Payne reporting for Defiance Digital Media Club. Thank you for coming on board as a student sponsor. What are your thoughts on this program?
I think it is a great program, okay? Again, anytime that you can get students out of the classroom and get them, I call it a higher learning or a more engaged learning atmosphere, either out in the business or out in the community, and get them involved in the community. And it really shows and will show off that Defiance really truly is a great place to live.
What other community activities do you support?
Here at the dealership, we have different people that support different things, and they are sponsored by the dealership. We have a person who goes to Rotary. We have another person involved in Zonta. We actually here at the store have 3 volunteer first responders for the Jewell Fire Department, and we also have 2 volunteer firemen for the Jewell Fire Department that come and go whenever they need to during the day.
Thank you for all you do for the community.
You are welcome, and the community is welcome.
Thank you for coming on board as a student sponsor. What are your thoughts on this program?
I think it's a great way for kids like yourself to be able to kind of get a feel for what this type of industry might be like for you, and I think it's a great opportunity.
What other community activities do you support?
We're a big supporter of Youth for Christ. We've been doing that for several years now, so that's one of our main things that we do support. And I know they're doing more things for the veterans here in Defiance County, so we also have been actually just contributed to the veterans program that they're having here pretty soon.
Thank you for all you do for the community.
You're welcome. Thank you.